Every time I get into a new EV, my mind is just blown by how advanced they've become in just a few short years. This Mercedes-AMG EQE Sedan is easily one of the most high-tech EVs out there today. And although it's not perfect, it is still super impressive. Let me tell you why.
For more expert car reviews, don't forget to share our channel and subscribe so you can catch some of this and maybe even a little of that.
So first things first, we really have to address how this EQE sedan looks, because I gotta say, not a huge fan of that front end design. And this has been the opinion of a lot of my friends and family. They look at it and they're like, ugh! It just doesn't scream luxury vehicle to me, you know? This is a six-figure car, and that front end is not giving. And when I think of AMG cars, I think of like super swaggy, very sinister looking, very sexy cars. This, to me, does not look like an AMG. And bear with me, because I'm an automotive enthusiast. I love AMGs. I love, gas-powered internal combustion, bi-turbo V8s. And so this switch over to EV and performance vehicles and what it all means, it's a lot for me to grapple with. So a lot of this car review is going to come across as me being a Luddite. And it's kind of true. I am kind of a Luddite. I'm a little bit old school that way. But even with all that considered, there's still a lot to get excited about this electric super sedan. And just going back to looks for a minute, from every other angle except from the front, I think it looks pretty good. From the back, it looks great. From the side, it looks all right. It's just that front end is not giving the luxury car vibes I want. And I know why they have to design it that way. It's to make sure that it is the most aerodynamically efficient design possible, which means you'll have more range. But this is also supposed to be a performance sedan. It is an AMG. If you have 701 horsepower and 617 pound-feet of torque, I really don't think that those slight changes to the aerodynamics are going to help you that much. So like I said, those output figures are absolutely absurd. And what that means is that this vehicle is stupidly fast. Like, no vehicle needs to be this fast. I'm talking 0 to 100 kilometers in 3.3 seconds. And that is very exciting, but I do think that there's more to a performance car than flat out speed. And just to show you, I'll just do a little rip here just to see. Yeah, and so this EV is super fast, but all EVs are super fast. You can spend 50 grand on an EV and it won't be as fast as this one, but it'll still be quick enough to get you into a lot of trouble real quick. So I don't really think that any car needs to be this fast, especially because, listen, AMG cars, why I love them so much is because they sound so menacing. That kind of interaction makes me really excited to drive it. It kind of prods me into exploring, different performance ranges that I've never done before. It pushes me to keep going harder and driving harder. I don't get that with this car. And yes, it is extremely capable. I've been flinging it through fast corners faster than I've ever driven before, and there is so much grip. And the fact that the battery is so down low means that it has a really low center of gravity. So it literally feels like it's magnetized to the road. So yes, it's incredibly capable and it has so much grip, and I'm really loving the performance. But again, there's just elements that are missing that make me really excited. And AMGs are all about personality. Unfortunately, this one doesn't have much personality. So all that said, this AMG EQE sedan does have a lot of things going for it to help its performance. Number one is the steering. I really like the steering. It has a great weight to it. It's very responsive. I also really love the fact that it has rear wheel steering, which helps this move around like a much smaller car than it actually is. It makes it a lot easier to maneuver into corners, and even when you're parking it, it's very useful. So I love to see that. I also love the way this suspension is set up. It has Mercedes air suspension as standard. And so what that does is it makes a really good balance between sporty performance and comfort. So in a corner, it stays really, really flat and stable, which I love to see, but it also is so comfortable over rough roads and it feels like you're just floating. So I love that it can manage to do both really, really well. One thing working against it is the braking. So obviously it combines mechanical braking with regenerative braking. I've been driving it with the intelligent regen on, which kind of does the work for you. The only thing is, because it's adaptive, I find it very hard to get used to because how it responds kind of changes from minute to minute. And so it just takes a lot of getting used to. And when it comes to performance, predictability is key. And so I'm not a huge fan of that system. But all in, I love the way this thing drives. I think it is nailing the sporty part without the emotion, if that makes sense. So if you're looking for just a smooth and powerful luxury EV, this is it. If you're looking for something a bit more hardcore to have fun with on the weekends, this probably isn't going to do it for you. So let's talk about range. All in, this car has about 362 kilometers of range. You could probably get about 400 on a nice day, but I really don't think that's enough for a lot of Canadians to get into an EV. Anything under 400 kilometers, I don't love to see, especially because I live in a place that you can't charge at home. And if you can charge at home, then 360 is perfectly fine, so no worries there. I really like that it shows you the range as a minimum and a maximum, so you're aware of best case and worst case scenario, which does a lot to help alleviate range anxiety. The only thing I'd like to point out is that I don't think that the range estimates have been very accurate, and this isn't running very efficiently. Like right now, after a couple days of driving it, it's at about 28 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. An efficient EV is somewhere under 20. So I would really like to see a higher level of efficiency from a sedan like this. But again, if you have somewhere to charge at home, it's really not a big deal. On a positive note, this EV can accept charging speeds of up to 170 kilowatts. It's very hard to find stations that actually go that fast. Most of the super fast stations are only about 50, but if you can get those really fast ones, it can get you from 10 to 80% in about half an hour. One of the big show stealers in this EV is what they call the hyper screen. It's basically a massive screen that goes from one end of the car to another under one single piece of glass. So it looks really impressive, and pretty much everyone who's gotten into this car is obsessed with it. But if I'm being honest, I really don't like it. So first of all, it's a $10,000 upgrade. Second of all, I just dusted it this morning and there's already a layer of dust and fingerprints. And so it just doesn't look great. The other thing I don't like about it is that when the sun hits it just right, the glare is absolutely blinding. So I would suggest not to upgrade to this hyperscreen at all. I do really love this interior though. Mercedes is so hard to beat with their interiors because they're so well done. And first of all, I love the ambient lighting. I know it's such a little thing, but they put it absolutely everywhere and it's customizable and it looks so high tech and so beautifully, really lovely. And the other thing I like about it is that it's not just there for show, it's there to communicate with the driver as well. So for example, if someone's calling you, it will flash. If you're trying to change lanes but someone's in your blind spot, it will blink red in which direction the car is. So I love when something beautiful is also functional. And the rest of this interior is great. Everything feels nice and expensive, just the way it should be. The only thing I don't love is the visibility. This windshield is raked back so aggressively. The rear window is like a mail slot. And also these pillars are so huge, and that just makes frontward visibility a little bit challenging. That said, it is really nice to see that Mercedes has packed this EV full of every single safety feature available. So it does help in that way, but I still think it's really important for drivers to actually see stuff. I also really love these seats. I love the pop of color from the red seat belts and the stitching, but there's also ambient lighting in the seats, and I think it looks so great. Another design detail I wanted to point out are these vents. It's just such a little detail, but they're so beautifully designed, and it's those little details that really help elevate the cabin. One thing to point out is that although the front seats are super comfortable and I love them, the rear seats don't have a lot of headroom. Because of this sloping roof, there's just not a lot of room for people back there, so something to keep in mind if you have passengers often. So this AMG EQE starts at $121,000. That does seem like a lot, but I actually think Mercedes does a great job in making it feel worth it because it is so high tech and there's just a lot of oohs and ahs to get really excited about in this cabin. The only thing I would suggest is that before you sign your life away to the AMG version is to test out the non-AMG versions as well. They're not going to be as fast, but they're also not slow, so I still think you'll be pretty happy, but they're also a lot more affordable and you get more range. Just something to keep in mind. Also, for $121,000, I really think that there should be way more standard features in here. Like, there are no heated seats in the back, which seems like a huge misstep for them. And also, there's no heat pump. And I feel like for a Canadian EV, having a heat pump is a necessity. To recap, I love the AMG EQE's swanky interior, smooth and capable driving dynamics, and advanced powertrain and tech. I'm not a fan of that front end styling, that huge hyperscreen, or the lack of personality. The Mercedes-AMG EQE Sedan is a high-tech tour de force. As a luxury EV, it checks a lot of boxes for me, but as a performance vehicle, it's just lacking that extra element of engagement that would get me very excited about driving it. And quite honestly, if they gave it a different front end, and if it didn't have an AMG badge, I would be completely happy. So if you're looking for a swanky, luxurious EV, I think you'd be pretty happy too.